IT attack. Investigators say that the suspect switched the plates on the rental car, and then he also used multiple SIM cards that made it more difficult to track his location. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
So Nate is there in Salem, New Hampshire. Less than 100 miles to the south, Paul Morrow is still in Providence, Rhode Island. So 3 different states involved here, Paul. Just give us your top line analysis. You know, former investigator, NYPD, you've been through a lot of these stories. Find the common thread in this one if you can.
All right, let's go to motive. Right now, the most that we have is, it seems to me, to be some bitter, blind sort of striking out at places that he blamed and people that he was perhaps jealous of. It looks to me like this is a guy who hit a portion of his life, a midlife, that he started realizing that a lot of what he expected of himself wasn't going to happen. He goes back to this issue of this MIT professor that he likely had a connection of some sort to in Portugal. He reportedly lost a job in Portugal. Maybe he blamed this guy. But the whole thing feels to me like a sort of petulant sort of revenge tour by a guy who was leading a slipping down life. And I'm sorry to give it such a prosaic motive, because when you see something so horrible, you expect there to be more. But unfortunately, very often when we get these things, you know, we had this in terrorism cases and things like that, stalking cases, very often it comes down to ground level things where you just shake your head and say, boy, you thought that was the solution? And I fear that at the end of the day, that might be all we get.
I want to play for you something from the Providence mayor. He was on CNN this morning talking about what the city needs to do.
I know Brown's going to do it, and on my responsibility on behalf of the city, we're going to do a full and complete analysis to think about how we can continue to do better to keep our city safe. Things like this have never happened before, and hopefully never will again, but we're always seeking to do better.
So that's the city. I've known you for many years. I know that you pay a lot of attention to campus crime. What do you think Brown or MIT needs to do? Well, MIT wasn't on the campus. What do you think Brown needs to do?
So Brown, unfortunately for them, is going to become representative of higher education here, because this is not a unique circumstance. They really let their security posture slip. These higher education institutions, they don't even have the defenses against a school shooter that we see these days in high school and grammar schools. Furthermore, there is something called the Cleary Report, which is mandated by Congress that colleges have to put out relative to their crime numbers. Now, I got to go to something that is just really discomforting. In 2023, Brown reported in their Cleary Report 20 rapes on campus. 20 rapes at one school on campus. I don't think a lot of the public knows that these Cleary